Hey everyone, welcome back to Wholesaling the Cool Way. This is our 30th episode or so. We've had a bunch of episodes we recorded that didn't record, but I think we're on a good track now with technology. But Jasper and I are here meeting on a Sunday. Jasper's my son, Jasper Cool, and I'm Mark Cool, and we both have wholesaling businesses working in the North Carolina market. I do some other stuff subject to and owner financing stuff as well. I've specialized in land for the last few years. Jasper's specialized in houses. We also do houses, but anyway, we get together every week and talk about our businesses, and we invite you into the conversation. Hopefully, we can bring some value. So we normally start off with some whatever we've been consuming this week as far as education, inspiration. Can be books or podcasts or things from life that have inspired us or we've learned from. So Jasper, you got stuff for that this week?
Yeah, definitely. Um, we were talking offline about this in depth, but I'll share a video that really helped me this week for anyone who's new or experienced in business. It was by Alex Hormozy, and it's called 13 Years of Brutal Business Truths in 90 Minutes. So if you have an hour and a half to spare, you can just play it in the background, but it was really helpful for me. It was just talking about all kinds of things, mainly personnel and how hiring employees can just exponentially grow your business, and how he believes that it's not marketing, it's not sales, it's not anything, but people is the greatest investment you can make in your business. So that was a really good video for me to listen to, and yeah, I'd recommend any of his stuff to people too. But that was a really good one. And then besides that, I listened to this. There's a new podcast that I really like, and shoot, now I'm forgetting the name of it. Let's see if I can pull it up. But it's with this Sam Parr, the guys who do My First Million. He started it like a separate podcast, and it's called Money Wise. That's the name of it, Money Wise. And I really like this podcast because they basically interview really successful people that are part of his. I think it's like kind of a funnel for his like coaching business or whatever, which is called Hampton, and that's like just a mastermind that they gather like entrepreneurs from all different ventures and just put them into like small groups. So I think it's kind of similar to a strategic coach, but I think his podcast is like a funnel for that. But anyways, he selects like people out of his group, and he'll interview them on this podcast, and they share like the numbers and stuff of what they spend on themselves and how much their company makes and all this stuff, which is really cool to hear from people that are making tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, because usually you don't get to hear that sort of thing. And it just kind of
Yeah.
goes in depth on like what they like to spend their money on personally, like people they might hire around the house. Like this one dude hired a nanny that comes at like 9 o'clock and stays till 6 a.m. so that they don't have to wake up with their baby. I just thought that was so cool. I never heard about that before. So just like cool stuff like that. And the one this week that I listened to was with the guy who made this company called Simple Modern. And I actually have Naja and I have a couple of their water bottles. They're just like, it's right here, but their water bottles are nice because that's just what they are. They're like simple modern water bottles, and they're made out of like stainless. And so I like them because they're not plastic. But anyways, it was sharing this guy's story on how he built that business to do. I think they're going to do like $200 million in revenue or something this year,
Wow.
and they're committed to giving away 10% of their profits on the business side. But this dude also gives away quite a bit of his personal income as well. I think last year he gave away $1 million of his own money, separate from the profits that they give away in the business.
Nice.
Yeah, and that inspired me to try to maybe do something like that in my own business. Obviously we're far from 200 million, but it could still make a difference for some charities, I'm sure. um
Yeah.
but what he was sharing that I wanted to share with you and anyone listening is that it really helped his team buy into the mission and just like be way more excited to grow the company so aggressively, like how they're growing. I think they shared the revenue. I think it was like their eighth year in business or something. And I think the first year they did like 1 million, and then it was like 2, 4, 10, 20, 80. Now they're like at 200. So it's just really exponential growth. And what he was sharing, he shared this one cool story about Walmart. He said he was talking with some Walmart executives, and I think they're called buyers or something, and they're the people who go out for Walmart and negotiate like from the supplier, because they're just wholesalers. So they negotiate like their pricing that they're going to get from the supplier for a certain product, and then they're going to turn around and mark it up, whatever they do, like 10%, and sell it to the customers. And what he learned from these Walmart executives is that they learned, from their higher ups or whatever, that when you go into these meetings, you don't think about negotiating because they're negotiating over probably 10 or 20 cents on some of these products, just like trying to get their margins because they're a volume company. And he was like, you don't want to think about it that way. Think about every penny or every dollar that you can get off of the manufacturer. That's savings that's going directly into your customer's pocket. And I thought that was really cool because the people that shop at Walmart, they're working class people, and for them, if they can save $5 a week on groceries, or maybe $20 a week on groceries, that makes a big deal, a big difference in their life. And so I just thought that was super cool to shift that frame. And for him and his business, what he does, instead of like, oh, we need to really fix sales so we can drive an extra $3 million to the bottom line. It's like, no, we need to fix sales so we can donate an extra $300,000 to this charity that we're supporting. And so he just said it really helps. He said, first of all, none of his employees want to leave. They all love working there because they're supporting a higher cause, and it just helps him with everything. So I thought that was super cool. And his name is Mike Beckham. So yeah, that was a really good one. And I did have a couple other ones, but we're trying to keep it short today, so I'll just stop
That's
with
all
that
right.
one.
We don't have to hurry. We're usually pretty good at keeping it concise.
Okay. Well, yeah, that was my favorite thing anyway. So that's it.
Well, thanks for checking in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made me think of the guy that I met at the 100 Club. Well, I told you about him before, but they do that in their business. They're home builders, and they build luxury homes. So for every luxury home they build a home in Mexico, in some village in Mexico. And I think the cost of building a house in Mexico is a small fraction of what it costs to build a luxury home here, but that
Yeah.
really inspires their team. And
Yeah.
I would like to have something like that on our team too. Like you said, we could do it at a smaller scale, but still, if my team knows like every closed deal, money is going to this cause. And I've shared with you also, I have one guy on my team who actually just does this anyway, and it's really inspiring because he's not making a ton of money on our team, relatively, but he every time we close a deal and he gets his bonus, he buys some food and gives it to needy people every
Yeah.
time, and he sends us photos of it and stuff. So if he can do it, we can do it.
Yeah.
uh, but shout out Lucky. um, as far as my stuff goes, I've been really deep diving on the infinite banking concept this last week and a half. It's something I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of it, but it's just an opportunity to take control of your financial fortune, and it's a really cool alternative. And it kind of like takes you out of the mainstream of banking and the way traditionally people think about money or manage money. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube, and I bought the book from the guy who sort of is the father of it in America, R. Nelson Nash, and I've been reading that book. It's called "Become Your Own Banker," I think, by R. Nelson Nash. So it's just really cool stuff. I'll try and make a synopsis of it, but it's funny because I think one of the episodes I've watched on YouTube, I've been trying to hear different voices on the topic, so that I'm not like just listening to one voice. But
Mhm.
one of the podcasts I'm pretty sure I listened to was on MoneyWise, talking about infinite banking, the infinite banking concept. But basically, you get a whole life insurance policy, and you pay a premium on that. But your premium is your money, right? That you're paying into it. So you pile up money in that account, and then you can borrow against your money, but your base of money never gets taken out and it continues to compound and sits there. So it's like you're borrowing on that, but it doesn't get deleted. It just continues to grow, and then you basically repay yourself instead of paying like a car loan company or a home equity line of credit company or a bank for a mortgage. You're just like, if you have enough money in there to buy a house, you could buy the house out of your infinite banking vehicle, and then pay yourself back that money instead of paying the bank. And the cool thing about it is it insulates you from ups and downs in markets, because your money grows at a steady rate as the company grows, and these are mutually owned companies that have been around for 100 200 years,
Yeah.
and you get dividends and stuff. But like, if something happened with real estate and you weren't able to, or something happened with your job and you weren't able to pay your car loan or your mortgage, you wouldn't lose your car or your house, because if you miss a payment to yourself in the insurance policy, it's not going to matter. Like, the insurance company kind of doesn't care if you pay it back, because they'll just take it from your money when you die. So
Yeah.
like, it's So it gives you a little bit more insulation from ups and downs or the fickleness of the economy or life events, stuff like that. So it's
Yeah,
very cool. And it does compound like in the hockey stick effect where it's like slow, 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 and then it starts to go up. So the longer you have it, the better. Anyway, I've been very excited about that, and actually spoke with someone about it this week from this company, Money Multiplier Company, which is the one that Chris Noggles associated Jasper that we've followed, or he's been on. One of the guys who teaches his name is Chris Noggle, and he's a real estate investor, and he's done flips, and he's a big proponent of this. He's been on some of
yeah.
the podcasts Jasper and I follow, real estate disruptors and others like that. So I guess that's my biggest one. I took a fair amount of time on that, but um, otherwise, Jasper and I could talk about the NBA and what's going on there and the inspiration of some of the players in that, but we don't have to get into that. We do that too often.
Yeah.
Um, so then next would be just our business general check-in. Usually we'll roll through our business and what's going on for people who are interested in the numbers and the nuts and bolts, and try and share some stories and nuts and bolts and numbers of what's happening in our businesses, and any victories and challenges too, that hopefully we can bring value by addressing. So, Jasper, you up for checking in on your business for the week?
Oh yeah, let's do it. So for this week, start with the KPIs. For this week, we got two contracts sold. Oh, we didn't sell one this week. So two contracts, zero sold, one closed. And in terms of leads and offers, my Podio is loading slowly this morning, but I guess I can circle back to that. And on the one we closed, we got a 5-star review from that, which is always awesome
Nice.
to do that. Yeah. So my goal for this year is to get up to 50 plus 5-star reviews, and I think we're about 26 right now, so about halfway there,
That's great.
and about halfway through the year. So hopefully we can we can do it.
That'd be
um,
awesome.
but
That's a good
but
goal.
yeah, yeah, I've noticed that that's really been helping us since we started Google Ads, because when people are online doing the Google Ads, they're not searching for our business necessarily. They're just trying to sell their house. But then when they do go on our website and our ad works, then what's the next thing they're doing? They're going to Google our name specifically. And so multiple leads, and every lead that we've contracted from Google Ads or PPC has said, yeah, we looked you guys up, and everything looks good. We saw your reviews, we saw your BBB thing, which, like, I signed up for the BBB thing because sellers care about that for some reason. I
Yeah.
think it's silly, but great for them, for the BBB, for creating that such a good brand. But I signed up for that, and then our Google reviews and stuff, and I think that's really helped us get more deals, specifically on the online side of things. So I've noticed a big payoff there, and especially as we get more and more, it looks even better. So I'm grateful for our team for continuing to do more of that. That's kind of a who not how thing on my team. Like, I'm not involved in that at all, but our team, every time we close a deal, they do a thank you call to the seller. They do a thank you text and thank you email, and both of the text and the email has our review link right there. And so we definitely don't get everyone, but we've seemed to increase the percentage this year of getting more 5 stars. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, in terms of leads and offers, I'll share that quickly. We got 172 leads came in this week and put out 114 offers. So both of those are looking good. We've been over 100 offers per week for the last 5 weeks, and I'm really happy
Wow.
about that. Yeah, so we're definitely cranking out the offers, and we're getting contracts, not at the rate that I'd like, but we are, and it feels like we're due for a really big week with maybe 5 or more contracts here soon. So hopefully. But yeah, other than that, uh, trying to see other victories that I wanted to share with you this week. Um, don't know. Don't know. In terms of challenges, I've had a challenge with this attorney that I switched to, which is normal, but I think I'm gonna make a commitment on here because I've complained about this many times. So I think going forward, I'm just gonna have a rotation of 3, and every deal just gets rotated. So I had 3 attorneys, and like I said, we'll send 1, send 2, send 3, and then we'll start over from the top. So that's what I'm gonna do going forward, so that I'm not feeling like I'm in like these golden handcuffs because I have 5 or 6 or 7 deals with one attorney. I don't like that feeling when
Yeah.
it feels like they're starting to slack, and then you have
We,
all these closings that are supposed to happen. So
we had some adverse news about one of our attorneys this week too.
Yeah.
You hadn't been using them a lot, but we got confirmation that we shouldn't be using them.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. And then I don't know if I shared with you, but that lien thing that he did for me, I reached out to him because I had another deal with the same situation. And I was like, hey, could you help us with this? You know, this is with a different attorney, but could you like do the same thing that you did? And he was like, oh no, like I can't do it with a different attorney. Like I'm not, and I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. So
Yeah,
yeah, so I was like, that's kind
there's
of
some
weird.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, so I think I'm gonna reach out to your attorney that you've been liking, Taylor, and hopefully start doing some more deals with them, and then have two other that I'm gonna work with as well, and just keep that rotation going. I think that'll help.
yeah,
Um,
they're great.
yeah,
Taylor Law,
um,
shout out if you're in doing deals in the Raleigh area.
yeah, definitely. But I guess for victories, one of the victories is that Warnie on my team, she's graduated to acquisitions recently, like in the last 3 weeks or so, and she's started doing contract walkthroughs herself this week, which is awesome. She was kind of learning on that, and Michael was helping teach her, but she started doing her own contract walkthroughs this week, which is awesome. She's just, learning more and more each week, and I appreciate her taking on that role. So that's been great. And then also, Matt shared, I think it was this week or the week prior, but he shared about how important he thinks SOD and EOD reports are, but especially end of day reports. And I noticed I had two of my people that weren't even doing end of day reports because I didn't even ask them. And so after that meeting this week, I think it was this week. Either way, I asked them to do it, and that's been awesome for me. Just the past few days getting those has been awesome for me, and just highlights the good and the bad on a few different people. So that's been awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
helpful.
yeah, and then let's see what else. Um, well, SMS has been cranking, so that's been really good. Like I shared, we got 172 leads this week, and over half of those were from SMS. So we're back to getting like 100 leads a week on SMS, which is awesome. So yeah, that's like the weekly update, I guess, for SMS for me.
That's
And
great.
uh,
It's a lot of
yeah,
leads.
I know. Uh, yeah, so I guess that's it, man. I feel like I had more stuff to share, but now it's not there anymore. We did do a check-in offline though, so there's
Yeah, we
that.
did an extensive check-in about the thing that Jasper mentioned earlier with the Alex Hormozy video and personnel and like having a rock star team. Matt brought that up. Matt Larson brought that up at the mastermind of like, just try and have all rock stars, all A players on your team if you're going to be growing and expanding. It really helps to grow. And so Jasper and I had an extended conversation offline about
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Uh, Happy to talk about that more with anybody who wants to talk. But yeah, Jasper, if you got stuff that you've forgotten that pops back in your brain, just feel free to jump in, or something I say triggers something you wanted to check in about, feel free to jump in.
yeah, sure.
Um, all right. Well, for me, God, I think I started off the week with this. No, that was the eviction was last week, right? What day is it? No, I started. It's it's so I'm looking at the wall calendar. Sometimes the weeks are so dense I don't even know. So Monday was the 6th, right? So
Yeah.
that means I was at court on Monday in a suit, and I drove 90 minutes to get there to do an eviction. But I chose to do that. I would advocate people hiring an attorney to do that if you are not worried about time or money. It wasn't so much the money for me as the time, because I've just heard horror stories and I've had experiences with attorneys of like they just get to it when they can get to it. And we
Yeah.
wanted this tenant out of this place, and we wanted them out ASAP because it's a place that we bought subject to. So we actually own it. It's on the MLS, which means we're paying a mortgage on it every month. And we've got a guy sitting in the house that wasn't paying any rent, and we're paying a mortgage. And, we're just ready to get the place sold, make some money. So I decided to go do that. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I would say that you can do, based on my experience, you can do a DIY eviction, and it's not that hard. You fill out a few forms, you pay some fees. I think it cost us about 100 and it was 96 and 30, so 126. 96 for the court fees, 30 to pay the sheriff to file to to do the summons at the person's door. So paid that, and then they schedule a court date for you. You show up at court date with all your evidence and documentation, which I spent a bunch of time. I got affidavits from the prior owners about how the guy hadn't paid rent and what he'd done and all this stuff, and I had those notarized. I had our rock star Duncan do that for me. When he did the closing documents with the sellers, I just had him do the affidavits at the same time. So anyway, I took in affidavits from the prior owners about the non-payment of rent. I brought in my text conversations with the prior owners and my text and phone conversations with the tenant, talking about when he was going to move and all this stuff. And I brought in our notice to vacate. We sent him a 7-day notice to vacate via certified mail. And then those are the main things that I brought in, and that was enough. And the judge found in our favor, and took the whole thing at court took probably 15-20 minutes. I presented my case, the tenant presented his case, and then the judge found in our favor. So she told me I had to be out by a certain date, which was like a week from the court date, and then she told them they owed us money for rent too, and file a judgment, which I don't know if we'll ever collect, but we have a judgment. Unless somebody has property that you can garnish, then you're probably not going to collect that unless you spend a lot of time, with a lawyer in court chasing down their employment and trying to get their wages garnished. I don't really care. I just want them out. So the victory on the other side of that is he has moved out. The other victory is I built a really good rapport with the tenant. It was not adversarial. I built a connection with him, and he was pretty cooperative about the whole thing and good about it. So according to him, he's out. I haven't verified that, but that's the win, because now we can actually get people through the house. We can get any repairs done we need to get done and get it sold. So awesome. Big victory. And it felt worth it for me to do the drive and experience the stress, even though I wouldn't recommend doing it consistently or at all if you don't have to. But yeah, that's that. And then as far as other business stuff goes, it's funny the numbers when I hear Jasper's numbers, because it looks like we did around 40 leads this week from SMS and cold calling. Maybe that's just this. I'm sorry. No, I've got my leads wrong. We did 34 offers. We got 3 contracts. No, I think we got like 50 leads, including cold calling and text. So that is what it is. We're sending 2,000 to 3,000 texts per day on average. Oh, we had a crimp in the pipeline again. So we're ongoing SMS check-ins. We had something happen with our Smarter Contact, our texting platform account this week, and the delivery rate went way down. So the response rate went down, and then the carrier block rate went way up into like the 15 or 20% carrier block rate. And it's supposed to be, I think Matt says, below 2 or 3%, something like that.
Yeah.
But we were able to make a midweek tweak because I was watching the KPIs and I saw that the carrier block rate went up and our response rate went down and our delivery rate went down. So we were able to tweak it by Wednesday. And when I'm looking at the numbers from Wednesday on, we were at 82% delivery, 14% response, and 0.07% carrier block rate. So this is one like pro tip for people, is one of the fixes that we made. And it's cool because the Smarter Contact people were very responsive and gave us multiple items that we could look at in order to fix this. And I think one of the most impactful things we did was we bought a new phone number. That was one of their suggestions. So we just put a new phone number in our account and ran the next campaign from that, and things bounced back. We did make some changes to our to some of our scripts and templates and stuff like that, but I'm not sure that was the most impactful thing. So we're actually talking about in acquisitions on our team, just periodically buying a new number, especially if we see any of the KPIs in SMS dip. Like if we see the response rate dip or the delivery rate, or we see the carrier block rate go up, we may just buy a new number and just like keep buying numbers. They cost like $5 or $10. And so that's something, I'll monitor and report back on that. But I think that might have been what impacted us, that maybe that number got like sort of collected some junk on the internet and the carrier started to say this number is not good or something's wrong, or they had enough DNCs on it or whatever, that they started flagging it more and more. And then we switched the number and we went right up. So could be a strategy for people doing SMS. So yes, 3 contracts. Those were all land contracts this week from SMS. Actually, I'm not sure, and I can't pull my KPIs at my fingertips like Jasper, but I'm not sure if they're all from SMS or if one of them came from Cold Caller. I think it was all SMS that the contracts came from this week. 34 offers. So like 40, 50 leads, and I don't have a hard number on that, but 34 offers, 3 contracts. And then I don't think we had any solds this week that I can pull up on my. Oh yeah, we did sell one this week. So we sold a piece of vacant land this week. So that's great. So now we have a bunch of stuff in escrow, which is awesome because we were in a little bit of a slump for a few weeks there. I think we're going to close a couple this week and a couple the following week, as long as everything goes as planned. Oh, another victory this week. This is another pro tip that we can share with people. And Jasper, you and I have talked about this before, but we had a deal that kind of reached a dead end where we couldn't. There were some heirs that were unfindable and didn't know if they were deceased or just lost or whatever. But the sellers did not have any way to contact them. Didn't know really who they were, but they were possible heirs. And so it was that place where you have to cancel the deal with the buyer. And I just approached the buyer and said, hey, we can definitely close this deal with you, but you couldn't get a general warranty deed. It would have to be a special warranty deed. And they were like, yeah, we'll do it. So not everybody will say yes to that, but I've had success with it. I think 3 times in 3 years. I've only proposed it probably a handful of times, like 6 or 8 times. But, I'm at a 50% clip on proposing it and winning it. So the difference between a general warranty deed and a special warranty deed is, general warranty deed means there are no liens, nothing in history for the last 70 years or whatever it is, and you get title insurance on it. Special warranty deed means that the seller is warranting special circumstances. They're saying, I haven't put any liens on it. There aren't any liens that I know about, and whatever else they're saying, but you're not getting any guarantee that somebody couldn't come back from, that's a great niece of somebody who died 100, whatever. Yeah. It's like there are these people out there that's like, well, this great grandfather is not accounted for, so we don't know if he might have had heirs that could possibly be out there somewhere in the world. And it's like, yeah, you could have some great grand cousin, who lives across the country or whatever that could somehow figure out that they might have a claim to this property and come back. So basically, that's kind of what you have to explain to the buyer is just like, there's probably a 95 to 99% chance that this is never going to bite you in the ass, but there's a small chance that it could. And in that case, you're going to have to defend your title. Yeah. And these people really wanted this property. I knew they really wanted it. They hung in there with us for like 2 or 3 months with us trying to find heirs and we couldn't find them. So rather than just straight up cancel, I said, hey, you want to try something different? You could do it this way. And they're like, yeah. They did ask us for a price reduction and we did grant it because they are taking a risk. But we gave them a price reduction of $1,500, so we're still making a nice chunk of change on it. So I just wanted to share that because that's something that maybe not everybody knows about, but it is a possibility. And we've closed a couple of those. I think we've closed 3 of those in the last 3 years with special warranty deeds. And I think that might be all for my business check-in. I'm looking at my notes on my yellow pad here. Yeah, I think that's all my notes that I had for eviction, blah, 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 da, da, da. But yeah, I don't need to go into the challenges. I'll go into I think it's a really good thing to just circling back to Jasper's beginning of his check-in. I think it's a really good thing to be aware if you are adding people to your team or have people on your team. Matt Larson was saying like he's always looking for the weakest link. Who's the weakest link? They need to up their game or they need to go and they need to be replaced. And that's kind of cutthroat, but at the same time, we're building this businesses to fuel our dreams in the world. And, we don't need people dragging their feet and slowing us down if they can't contribute in a good way. Yeah. And I think, the other piece, Jasper, of our conversation is like somebody has said it, whether it was Alex Hormozy or Layla or somebody else, is like sometimes your company grows faster than the individual. I think it was in the Layla Hormozy podcast that we liked about, your team is like somebody might just be going at this rate, and that's the rate they want to go along in life at and in their job at. And your business might be going, at a different rate. Your business might be growing this way, and they want to just grow this way at a steady pace. So your business might
Mhm.
outgrow the people, and that's okay. It's like you might just have to say to people, like, here's where we're going. And I remember her saying, because this sticks with me, it's like she would say to people who come into the business, like, being on our team is like riding a bicycle downhill with no brakes. There's going to be times where you're just like, what the heck, and trying to keep up. But
Yeah.
that's the pace we want to grow at. And so if you're not up for just like some adventure and growing fast, and maybe this isn't the company for you. So I think that's another thing to look at. It's just like, what's the rate of growth that you want, and are the people on your team up for that level of challenge and adventure and day to day growth. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Did anything pop up for you while I was talking? Anything else you wanted to share?
I could share just a brief deal breakdown. I didn't do that on the deal that we did close this week, just in case
Yeah,
anybody likes, just in case anyone likes when I do
I
that.
think those are always good. I always appreciate them.
Yeah, this one was a very long one, so I will share it for anyone who's interested. So, this lead came into our system way, way back in 2022. So this is an ancient lead from from
Just like
over.
prop stream leads.
Yeah, exactly. So this lead was from a campaign that we launched in April 2022. So over 2 years ago is when we first launched this campaign, and the lead came in. So we launched the campaign in April 22. This lead came in July 22. So about 3 months after we launched the campaign, we got this lead, and a bit rare for our business these days. But this was a cold call lead. So back in 2022, cold calls seemed to be working even better than what it is now, at least for me. And so that was kind of the bulk of our business back then. But either way, this came in, this was a cold call lead, July of 22. And now we're in May of 2024. So we followed up with them for just about 2 years. And then we got them under contract the end of April. So 21st of April is when we got them under contract. And this was a vacant property. It was super easy. Sellers are great. So we closed this in about 3 weeks from contract to close. We closed it this past week. So
Nice.
I guess that might be even faster. I think about 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks.
That's great.
So yeah, so it was awesome. It was a super smooth deal on all sides, and Duncan was a huge help. This one was located in Burlington, North Carolina, so it's pretty close to where Duncan lives. So he helped me put the lockbox on there, get the pictures, meet the sellers for that, and then he went back and met them, this week for the seller docs. And then they actually requested, they had got spoiled on another deal they closed with another company, I guess, and they requested Duncan to hand deliver their check. So shout out to Duncan for doing that. I felt bad asking him to do that, but I don't live in North Carolina anymore. So I had to, and he did it, and he hand delivered their check, and we got a 5 star from them, as we should, with a hand delivered check. But really appreciate Duncan for going above and beyond on this deal. And a double win for us is that they have multiple other properties that they're trying to sell. And actually, this was a property where, so I guess I'll share a quick story. This actually wasn't their property. These sellers, they were actually a power of attorney for one of their good friends who is unfortunately in the hospital, and she might not live much longer. And so hopefully she'll make a recovery and she can enjoy the funds from this sale. But basically, they're the POA for her. And this person who is in the hospital, has a few other properties herself, as well as these sellers have a few properties themselves. So all together, there's like 5 or 6 more deals that we hopefully will get in the future, maybe later this
Wow.
year. And so this is like a massive win from a lead that's 2 years old. So for anyone out there,
Yeah.
follow up on your leads, because don't count your chickens before they hatch. We might get 0 more deals, but either way, we were able to close this deal and make a good profit. About 2.5 years after we had first launched this campaign. So that's just proof that follow up wins deals. And on this one, see if we have the exact number of follow-ups. It looks like over 20 were counted in our podio, and we might have some more. But yeah, we followed up with them quite a bit. And yeah, like I said, we might be a total of like 5 or 6 deals that we can close from this one lead, hopefully. So yeah, shout out to them, shout out to Duncan and the whole team for getting that one closed. It was awesome. So
That's
yeah,
great.
that's my deal.
Great
That's my
story.
deal breakdown for the week.
Nice.
Oh. Yeah. Hmm. But yeah, I guess that's it, unless you have anything else.
No, thanks for sharing that story. That's great. I like the deal breakdowns. And
Yeah.
that's a house. So you guys made a pretty good check on that.
Yeah, this was actually a condo, so we don't do too many condos, but this was a condo. The only thing, word of advice for anyone who's dealing with condos, make sure you get the HOA information up front. Sometimes, some HOAs are better than others. In this case, it was just another terrible HOA. In my experience, I've never run into a good HOA ever. And it seems like they just collect a fee every month. It's a great business model because they collect a fee every month and they do absolutely nothing. So it's a great business model. If anyone wants to start an HOA, maybe do it a little bit better than most of them out there. But but yeah, in this case, it was just like a literally one individual. It wasn't even like a company. And so
Mhm.
it took a while tracking him down because this is like just a side gig for him, and he works third
Yeah.
shift. So he works like he sleeps like during the day and he works at night. So it's kind of hard to get a hold of this dude. That was the only hiccup on this deal was the HOA. But yeah, anyone who's working with either townhomes or condos, make sure you get that information up front so you can get it to closing. But yeah, this is a
Yeah,
condo in
well,
Burlington.
it's true of vacant land too. We run into it with vacant land because we'll get lots in gated communities and stuff where there's an HOA, and a lot of those HOAs, in my experience, they won't give you the HOA information or the covenants code restriction, whatever that document is, CCR. They say only the seller will. They'll only give it to the seller.
Yeah.
So then you have to get the seller to request it. So yeah, it can be a process. So if you get an HOA, jump on it early.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in my experience, it just seems like they enjoy making closings as hard as they can. So it's very interesting working with the HOA companies, but glad we were able to get it done. But actually, that reminds me, one more thing I'll share with you and anyone listening is I heard on a podcast recently, and I wish I remember the exact podcast, but someone said that that's their strategy. And they reach out to HOAs specifically. They like buy a list of HOAs somehow, and they reach out to them specifically. And then they ask the HOA owners, hey, do you have any problem properties in your neighborhood that don't cut their grass,
Oh
that
wow.
don't obey you or don't pay the fines or leave their trash cans out, whatever the HOA companies hate, right? And they literally, that's how they get deals. They literally call them up and they ask them for the problem properties in their neighborhood. And they're like, would you introduce me or give me their phone number? And hopefully we can buy them and clean up your neighborhood. And he said that that just works like wonders for them. So
Wow.
that was an idea I heard this week that I'm glad that I remembered because that's something I need to figure out how to do because that's a good idea. But,
Yeah. Probably search prop stream by HOA
yeah, yeah,
or
but
prop wire
yeah,
if you're looking for a free property search.
yeah, definitely. Oh, and that reminds me of one more thing. Thank you for reminding me. But just in case this would be valuable for anyone, I've yeah, I use PropWire because they're the only software I know besides PropStream. I think they do it also, but where you can like draw a circle on a map and then buy the data within that circle, if that makes sense. So on the other data providers that I buy from, I think you can only buy by zip code, city, county, but on PropWire, they let you like draw a certain area. So for me, it's part of my process. It's probably something I should hand off to a VA, but something I do every weekend is any deals that we close from the week prior. I'll just go to that address, draw like a couple miles around radius, and I'll buy all that data, and I'll try to get another deal in that same radius because I can sell it to that same buyer. So just anyone who's interested, I've closed 2 deals this year from that exact strategy, which is just, like I said, just buying the data. I don't do any filters, equity, or anything like that. I literally just buy all the data within about 2 mile radius, draw a circle, and then I market to them. And yeah, like I said, I've gotten 2 so far. So for anyone interested, that's a good strategy.
Yeah, it's similar to the realtor strategy of like when you sell a house in a neighborhood, then you flyer everybody in the neighborhood, and you say, "Hey, we
Yeah.
just sold your neighbor's house. You thinking about selling?"
Yeah.
You know,
That's a
so
good
you can
idea
do that
too.
too.
Yeah.
You can reach out to everybody and just say, "Hey, we just bought a piece of land or bought a house. Are you interested in selling?" Yeah, but that's an
Yeah.
old time realtor strategy too.
I think that's even better what you just said. So, anyone who's listening who has experience with direct mail, that's probably even better. For me, I haven't tried that, but I bet that's even better. We're just marketing them via cold call and text, but I think mail will be even better.
You could send a postcard and just be like, "Hey, we just bought such and such address. would love to buy more properties in this area if you're considering selling. You know?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Chock full of tips, pro tips, and all kinds of juicy stuff.
Yeah.
Bringing as much value as we can. It'll
Yep.
be interesting to see if we ever get. I mean, I know we get new followers every week, so would love to get some comments from folks if you're listening. If we're bringing value or what we can do more of or less of or whatever, what you like. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's all we got, right?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. I'll end with an old favorite quote. Albert Einstein. He's in the IBC guy's book, R. Nelson Nash's book about the infinite banking concept. He's got the Albert Einstein quote that says, "Imagination is more important than knowledge," which is
Yeah.
kind of how he came upon the process of tweaking these traditional insurance policies to become great investment vehicles by using his imagination. So
Yeah.
having a good imagination and thinking about where things can go, it's important.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Well, till next episode, thanks for listening, and leave us some comments or feedback. And you can reach Jasper or myself at on Facebook, probably Jasper Cool or Mark Cool. And yeah, I'm on TikTok too, but I don't remember my name, and YouTube. I think on YouTube we can wholesaling the cool way, obviously.
Yeah.
But all right. So long.